Hello?
Good morning. How we doing? A
A little tired.
little tired? I feel that. I feel that in my bones. Why are you a little tired?
Oh, I think I had an okay weekend. I don't know. My sleep's still been a little off for a while here. I don't know if it's sleep. I don't know if it's, we're doing this hiring thing that's stressful
Mm.
and tiring, a lot of brain cycles. So I don't know if it's that kind of thing or random. Yourself? Are you tired? You look
I'm
tired.
tired.
Yeah.
Thank you. I do look tired. I appreciate that. Yeah, long weekend, which used to be awesome, but now with, 4 kids is exhausting.
Oh, yeah.
So happy, just so happy to be back at work in the quiet. But yeah, it was good. Good weekend. We went to a little parade on
Ooh.
whatever 4th of July was, Thursday, I guess.
Yep.
Went to a little neighborhood parade and then went to the in-laws last night, and yeah, it was good. Just long weekend, lots of kids stuff to do.
So you actually took Friday off too? You made it an official long weekend?
No, actually.
Okay. You
No,
said
I
long
came.
weekend,
Yeah,
but
no,
what
I,
wasn't
I
a long
definitely,
weekend?
I definitely came back under.
Okay.
So,
All right.
okay, let me rephrase.
It was
Regular
a weekend.
weekend plus a
Yeah.
bonus Thursday before that
There you
felt like a
go.
long
All
weekend.
right. I was surprised. I was like, "Oh, that's good for him. He's newly
No, not
self-employed.
good
He's
for
taking the long weekend."
no,
No
not
long
good for
weekend.
him. Bad for him.
Bad for
Um,
him.
Bad for him. We did watch. I got a little. When this happened, I thought I can't wait to tell Ian. We watched. Jennifer and I watched Vegas Vacation. Great movie.
Oh,
Love that
okay.
movie.
Yep.
Grew up on that
Mm-hmm.
movie.
Yep.
We watched Vegas Vacation on. I think it was maybe Thursday night after we put everybody to bed, and the there's a scene in Vegas Vacation where they're driving along and Good Vibrations comes on. Great song,
Yeah. I
just
love that
setting the
song.
scene. It's
Yeah.
wonderful. And Jennifer looks over at me and goes, the Beatles are really great. And I
Oh.
said, yes, this, however, is the Beach Boys. I was like, this is not even close to the Beatles. I guess same
Yeah.
era, but not even a little
Kind
bit
of.
close.
A
Yeah.
little bit after, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought, well, you definitely know your classic music
That's
here, the
funny.
Beatles and the Beach Boys.
I like the Beatles a lot. I haven't been as much. I mean, I like the Beach Boys, like the whatever. Obviously, the 5 hits or whatever the big top 5 are, like those Beach Boys
Mm-hmm.
songs. I can't say I've ever listened to a Beach Boys album.
Oh man, I grew up on the Beach Boys. My dad had the
Okay,
Beach Boys blasting all the time.
interesting.
It
We
was
got a lot of
great.
Beatles around.
Nah.
Jamie's stepfather was big on the Beatles, but not as much of the Beach Boys. Other than that, it was everywhere. Just I feel like it was a big 80s, 90s because they were
Mm-hmm.
still around in like the 80s. Like they were doing some stuff there. They had a big song even when I was a kid. What the hell was it? They had one last big song like in the maybe it's early 90s or late 80s or something
In
like
the
that.
early 90s, the Beach
Yeah, they
Boys
did.
did?
I'm pretty sure.
What?
It might have been late 80s.
No way.
Yeah, they did.
There's no
Yeah,
way they were
ChatGPT.
active in the 90s.
No, I'm telling you, they had some kind of song. I mean, it might have been the 80s, but it was like
Kokomo was 88. You're
Kokomo.
right.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it was.
You're right.
It was huge. It
That's
was everywhere.
crazy.
Yep.
Surfing
Yep.
USA
See?
was 1963.
Oh
Good
wow, they were.
Vibrations was 67.
Wow, so they
That Pet
were
Sounds
with the
album was
Beatles.
66.
I always think of them as 70s, but I guess not. They're 60s. Look at that.
Pet
I
Sounds,
guess
I
that makes
remember that
sense.
one. 1988.
I
Good
told you,
grief.
man, because everybody was like, "What? This is the Beatles?" Or
There's
not me doing it. This is the Beach Boys.
That's
Kokomo.
wild.
Take
Kokomo.
me
That's a good
down to
song.
Kokomo.
Yeah,
We'll
it went
get
kind of like
there
that.
fast, and then we'll
Yeah,
take it
somewhat.
slow.
Sure. Close.
Oh man, 88. That was like 6th grade or something like that. Whew.
We should have a singing contest on the pod.
Oh
that
man,
that sounds like a disastrous idea.
now we do that the last episode. That's how we go out.
Yeah,
blaze of
that will
glory.
definitely be our last episode. That's for sure. So you're tired because you're
man.
hiring. I've seen you tweeting. The
Yeah.
hiring.
People love
Oh,
the hiring tweets.
they
They love
love
them.
the hiring tweets. That's
Or they
because
hate them,
that's
which
because
is the
you're your
same thing,
business
right?
dad. They
I have
love
business
to hear
then.
it from an authority. So tell
They
me,
do love that.
you've gotten 600 applications,
No, it's 1,000.
595, 1,000 applications,
Yeah.
995 of them are crap. So tell us about these applications.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that it's definitely 800 are complete crap. Instant
Okay, that's a lot.
rejection, right? Then the rest you got to go through a little bit. Luckily, I have Dave. Producer Dave is point man on the first pass, so it's not totally overwhelming me, which is good. And then I kind of go through the finalists and give my thoughts. But yeah, it's been good. I think we got a pretty. I think it's this
Take
is where
the gloves off, Ian. Take the gloves off.
I've been thinking about you a lot in this process.
Okay.
Because I've been thinking about like the whole like just do stuff mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And on both sides, both for myself, it's like I have this little bit of notoriety, like very small compared to other people in our industry, but it's just by been doing stuff randomly, basically. And I do think that's helped with the caliber and quality of the software developers who've applied, because people know me and they know we're interesting and serious and like it's a good place to work and all that stuff, or at least it appears that way. I think it is, but I'm known a little bit more than if you're just rando hiring manager, right? So and then on the other side, I think the Aaron Francis technique is especially important, to just do stuff, because like you see so many resumes come through and people haven't done stuff, and it's like, even if you just give me a little something, like give me anything to like, because it's also hard for people to talk about. People got mad at me about this. I tweeted something along these lines, but like your resume, okay, it's like, here's your current job in 3 sentences. Like that's just not enough most of the time to really get a feel for the person. And then so you have the cover letter to explain yourself, but then even there you need to like have done stuff in order to have stuff to say or to link to, ideally, or things like that. And so so yeah, it doesn't have to be huge, right? But it has to be, I think having something is definitely better than nothing, especially in a competitive application process.
So when you see the ones that have done something rather than nothing, what are the some things that they have done that are catching your eye? Is it open source? Is it side projects, failed or successful? What is it?
Yeah, it could be. It's lots of different things. It's definitely open. I always obviously look at the GitHub and things like that. And so I think there's like an important thing, right? If you have some stuff on GitHub, like having something you put some weight behind and gotten 50 stars for, right? Like it's not a giant hit of a package, but it's like some people used it and liked it and are invested in it on some level, right? Like that's a big separation from the person who has 3 1-star repos, right? Like it's not the only fact. Like everything I'm going to say in this it's not the only factor ever, but it is. You're just looking for data points when you're trying to filter through 1,000 people, and it's a data point that like, okay, like this person not only produced something, they produced something somebody liked, and that they then in some fashion marketed or got the word out about enough to get some people interested in it, right? So it's a data point. Yeah, I think like obviously like things like having a podcast or being on podcasts, like people got mad at me about this. It's like, well, I don't have time for podcasts. It's fine,
pretty high bar. It's a high bar.
Like,
have a podcast.
Having a podcast is a high bar, but I don't think being a guest on a podcast is a high bar. And I mean, lots of podcasts are out there desperate for guests. Like they come in every week and they're like, what the hell are we going to talk about this week? And they love when people approach them. So approach them and try to get on the shows. Like I think literally a single show.
And that is kind of a proxy for the thing you're looking for. Because if you're going to go on a podcast, you have to have something to talk about. And if you're going to have something to talk about, you have to have done something interesting. And so it's coming back to the same thing that you're looking for, which is like having done something that I can look at.
Yes, produce things that people can look at. Not always, a lot of time, the majority of your work, that won't be possible, right? Because it's like, whatever, we build some internal tools at some company. Right. Yes, like you're not going to be able to show the code or the tool or whatever. Fine, but like, there's still, this is also software developers. Like you're not tricking me. Like I know that you're out thinking about side projects and doing other things. Like there's not a lot of web software developers out there that are literally like, I just only ever think about and do my day job and nothing else. There's no offshoots of any kind over a 10-year period. Like, I don't know. It's hard. Even if it's just your own personal website. Like, I mean, I've seen a lot of really mailed in personal websites. And I'm like, man, make yourself a nice personal website. There's
It's the
no
one
excuse not
thing
to
you've
have a
got
nice personal
full
website.
control over.
Full control. Like, I mean, just there's a million templates out there. Like, I'm not even saying you have to be a graphic designer. I'm saying
Yeah.
like care enough about it to make a reasonable looking personal website. Maybe have, you're going on the job market, have a couple blog posts in the last few months.
Mhm.
Like, it's not like that, or again, that's a thing totally in your control. It will instantly separate you from 95% of people who don't have that. And is just one more little data point of like, okay, like this person took a little time, made their personal site nice. Like, there's a lot of bad personal sites out there. Even people who are selling consulting service, like obviously I see a lot of people who are like, I have a day job, and then I also have this consulting company where I do side gigs.
Mhm.
And like a lot of times that consulting company website is very bad. And it's like, man, like, come on, like, give me something here. Like, give me
Mhm.
something to work off of. So, you know, again, it's like, it's unfortunate. It's not fair. I'm not saying any of this is fair, but like, you have to make quick judgments when you're trying to get to 1,000 people. And like, I'm trying not to judge the book totally by its
Yep.
cover. And I'm going
Well,
to
you
that next
can't read all the
layer,
books. What
but I
else are you
can't read
supposed
all
to
the
do?
books. So I'm making the effort to go into that. I'm not just like, okay, the resume isn't ideal, the cover letter isn't ideal. Like, I'm going to that next level in of like, okay, I'm clicking through to your website, I'm taking a look, and then what's there, if it's not good, like, okay, then I have to stop, right? Like, I can't go farther than that. So
Right.
that's just the reality of it.
This is very much a fight or win callback, because it's not
Yes,
fair. Like, it's
right.
just
It's
totally
not
not
fair. You
fair.
have to
Not
fight not
fair at
fairly.
all.
Yes.
Yes, it's not fair, but this is reality. Like, what are you,
Yeah.
Ian, supposed to do with 1,000 applications?
Right.
You can't be the one doing the work to like look through a terrible application and try to figure out why this person is actually great,
Yeah.
because
It's just
you don't
not
have
reasonable.
time.
Right.
And maybe in a perfect society, the best person for the job would just bubble up to the top, but that's just not how it works. So you can
And
be mad about the system and like, oh, I
right.
shouldn't have to have a personal website. Or you could just spend, 2 or 3 hours making a personal website and get a leg up on everybody else that's mad about the system.
Yeah.
Like, which
Exactly.
one do you want?
It doesn't even have to be built. You know what I mean? You could literally use WordPress. It's not even about like, did you build this yourself and handcraft it? It's like, you don't have to go the Aaron Francis. I create a whole crazy scheme to like
Good scheme.
static
Not
site
crazy.
generate,
Good.
right?
Good.
Like, you could literally just use Word, anything. Like, it's just, yeah, it just is. And I think, yeah, I mean, the reality is even when it's down to 200, right? It's like, even when it's down to 100, like, you can't spend
Still
30
a
minutes on
whole
each
lot.
one. That's a lot. Like, so, and this is where, again, the doing stuff mindset, obviously, especially with small companies, there tends to be an advantage. And I'm trying to not factor that in as much with this process, honestly, but there does tend to be an advantage to people who the owner knows, because it's like
Mm-hmm.
the owners value trust. They value that they like, there's probably only one or two of these roles, and they want to know somebody reliable is in
Yep.
them. And if they've had an interaction with that person, that's going to give that person a big advantage. I mean, I think you can even see it with like all the people Laravel's hired recently, right? There's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people that like we all have seen in the community. Like, there's not a lot of like, hey, random person who just came out of the blue. There's some, but there's also plenty of people who are like, oh yeah, I've seen that guy around. Like, they've been doing stuff
And you
in
you know how
Laravel.
you get an owner to know you? You know how you get Taylor to know you or Ian to know you? You do stuff.
That is helpful. Yes, the doing stuff.
That's how Joe Tenenbaum got hired. I mean, he just did a bunch
Yeah,
of stuff. Then he got a Laracast course. Then now he works at Laravel. It's like,
yeah. I
it's
mean,
not
he
that
was like,
hard. It's not
he
that
did.
complicated. It is hard.
Yes, it is hard, but it's not complicated. He just had a blog post, like a love blog post that was kind of
That was so
crazy. And he's
nice.
like, that Landsman guy, he's like, he was calling me crazy all the time, and it was great. And it was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's got him noticed, right? Because he was
Yep.
doing something insane. Um, I will say that for the flip side, there are
Okay.
a few people that are definitely going to be interviewed who don't match any of the stuff I just said. Like, one guy
Great.
I'm thinking of in particular, like, he just had a cover letter, no links. I think he just had a personal website link, and the personal website was reasonable, so that was good.
Okay.
But besides that, like, and it was just the resume. Doesn't have a lot of GitHub stuff. Doesn't have that much other stuff. He does have more than nothing, because he has like a personal website and has like some videos and stuff. So it's not nothing, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
over the top at all. But he's also like got some experience that's like really tight to what we would need. And so that is if you have a lot of highly relevant experience, of course, that's good. But yeah, it depends a lot on each job. Like our job's a little more complicated in that than other jobs because it's not just like
Working all over the stack on this job.
right, you're all over the stack. There's going to be, you might talk to customers. You are right. It might be occasionally that you're on servers doing stuff. So like, you don't need to be proficient in all these things, but somebody with some experience in a lot of these things definitely has a leg up. Whereas other jobs are going to be like, yes, like you are in a pure Laravel stack in one app doing one part of this app. And yeah, then that's a different situation. But
Yeah.
so yeah, so it's not impossible to get through the first layer sieve without having gone over the top, but I do think you stand out more and it gives you an advantage. I have a controversial topic.
I
If
love
we want
it.
to talk about that, I was gonna
Yeah,
tweet
of course
this.
we're going to talk
Have you
about
ever done
that.
this? I have a tweet like written,
Oh, yeah.
but I haven't sent it because I just
Yep.
know people get very frumpy about this topic, and I didn't want to deal with it this morning. So I didn't send it. I don't know. Maybe it'll only live on the pod, and we'll never.
All right. Give
We'll
me give
never
me the
tweet it.
take,
But
and then I'll make a ruling. I'll make a
all right.
determination.
And there are definitely different opinions on this.
No. Don't
And
soft pedal.
don't
Nope.
qualify. And I want to say this is not an auto rejection for me. I'm
Okay.
qualifying for more.
You're still
But
qualifying.
I don't love it. It's not my favorite when a developer has a bunch of 1-year stints or less than 1-year stints. It's like 4, 5,
yeah, they'd flame
1-year
you for this
stints,
take.
6.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't like this take. Nobody
they
likes
don't like
this
this take.
But it's like you're making a big investment in somebody, and if
You
their
are.
history shows that like they tend to leave after a year, I mean, most of the time the person's not even that useful until a year. Like in reality, like you hope that they're useful before a year. But like think about all the things I just said, right? Like
Yeah,
go on our servers and be able to do stuff, code up in HelpSpot, bring it up into fully
right.
Laravel 11. Also work on Lara jobs, also work on back office stuff, also work on maybe you're helping customers. Like, these are a lot of different things that
It's
you're
a lot of
not
different
going to be
things.
great at all at once, right?
Yep.
And so, I think it's good for the employee, the fact that like I think about it more as like it takes you a year to even get started. Like I'm not thinking about like day one, if this person's not productive, I'm like
Right. You're gonna cut
firing them and on to the next one, right? Like so I think obviously if somebody's literally doing nothing, that's a different scenario. But the idea of like, yes, you're productive, but you're not like out there perfect at everything. And, in the first 3 months of the job because you're just getting your feet wet. So,
all right. So So here's, I agree.
What do you think about that?
Yeah. 1 year, a bunch of 1-year stints in a row is usually a bad look. Here's what they're going to say. I don't know who they is, but here's what they're going to say.
Yeah.
They're going to say that this is like a ploy by capital to I'm channeling my inner Daniel Coburn workers' rights. What would he say? This is a ploy by capital to keep you at an underpaying job when the best way to increase your salary is switch jobs. That's what they're going to say.
So I think that's definitely the obvious take, I think. And I think that here's my counter argument to that.
Okay.
Which is especially in software development more than other types of jobs, or really anything in tech, let's say tech. The way this usually plays out is like, and a lot of these resumes reflect this, is like I'm moving often between like VC backed sort of things. I'm trying to like on paper get the next better job, right? It's gonna have options, it's gonna do all these things. So with the goal, ideally, I presume, of having a better financial outcome. Like I'm trying to move up the financial ladder, right? But I guess that you have 4 of them on your resume is the counterpoint in and of itself. Like if one of them had been such a great financial windfall, you wouldn't have then moved on to the next one, right? Like it wasn't. And so you moved on to the next one. And so I don't know, like I just feel like it's not as automatic as that. And I also think those days are maybe over. I mean, we'll see, but I feel like the last 5 years, like you could just pop around and nobody cared, and that's fine because we're just like so desperate to hire anybody with a pulse. Let's get you in here. I don't know if those days are coming back, and if those days aren't coming back, then I think it's especially bad. Because if I have 1,000 applicants, then I'm looking for things to filter, and one of them might be people who seem like they don't stay at their jobs very long. Like that seems like a reasonable thing to filter on. So yeah, but I agree. I'm going to get
That is a
blamed.
difference between VC and bootstrapped or big business, little business. Like somebody
Yeah.
comes to a big business, somebody goes to Dropbox for a year and then leaves. You know who cares? Nobody. Nobody
Right.
freaking cares. But
Yeah.
if somebody came and worked at your company for a year and then left, that would be like, well, shoot, we
That's
we
a bummer.
really
Yeah.
counted on that person and we put a
Yeah.
lot of time, energy, and effort into training that person, and now they're gone.
And
So I think
even
that's a fundamental difference. That also happened. That also happened. Like that difference was illuminated when I got laid off and I got 1 month of severance, and I was like, that's feels crappy. And bootstrap companies were like, "Wow, 1 month, that's crazy." And big companies were like, "Whoa, 1 month, that's crazy." And I'm like,
right.
"You guys are using crazy differently."
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah. That's a whole other end of it. But yeah, I don't. Even with you're going to join a VC company and you're looking for the big payday, right? Like, I just think like going into the mindset of like giving it at least 3 years plus. Like, obviously, it might not work out. You might get a great offer, and especially the last like 4 or 5 years, people were just like
Mm-hmm.
being attacked with offers. So fine, but you don't get paid at the VC company. Like, yeah, they're throwing these big numbers at you when you sign up, but you don't get that money for 10 years. Like, it's not like
Right.
you join, especially if it's early. It's not like you join and you get options and those options are worth millions of dollars like in a month or a year. Like, those options aren't worth anything for a long time. And so
Probably
you're
forever.
most likely 95% of the time they're never worth anything. And then
Yeah.
even the 5% of the time they are worth something, it's a long time from now. So like
Yeah.
you want to be in the mindset of like, I'm going to be there to like fully vest my options and take maximum advantage of this thing if I really believe in it and if it's doing well. So yeah. So I guess that to me is like, again, it's not a total rejection, automatic rejection, or anything like that, but especially I'm grading on the curve a little bit because I know the last few years it's been a lot of demand.
You should
But
tweet
yeah,
it.
I don't know.
Get
Should I
ready to be
tweet it
called a
out there?
boomer, but
There you
you
go.
should tweet it. Yeah. You're
I
gonna
know
get a quote tweet that says, "This is such a boomer take."
producer Dave doesn't like this take either of mine. So
Whoa, producer Dave
yeah,
doesn't
it's a
like it.
little in-house conflict on this one. Yeah,
Oh
he's
no.
he's a new generation guy.
He
I'm an old
is.
generation guy.
Yeah.
I'm a Don Draper.
You're a show up to the office with donuts for the boss, like shake the
Exactly.
man's hand and you get the job. That's the
Yeah,
kind
there
of
we
guy I'm
go.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sit around and have some scotch after work, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But
All
overall
right,
it's going
so
good.
overall it's going good. Where are you at and when are you gonna be done? Like when are you gonna pick?
So I don't know. So we still have like 300, I think, that have not been first pass vetted by
Holy
Dave
moly.
yet. So yeah, so
Good
that's going
Lord.
good. It has trickled down now to like we're not getting that many new ones. I think there was only like 10 new applicants over the weekend or something. So, or maybe it was yesterday. I'm not sure what the metric was, but so it's slowing, like whatever. The job post has been out there for a bit and I've
Mm-hmm.
been tweeting about it for a bit. So,
Can we
and I
just
think we
pause there
had,
for a second?
sure.
I didn't think about the fact that you got 1,000 applicants for a job.
Yeah,
That is an
it's a
unbelievable
lot.
amount.
It's a lot of applicants.
Why is that?
And we didn't even do any other job boards. We only did Lara jobs. And then the workable thing, I think, put us on some random job board. And there was some like that just happens automatically or
Yeah.
something. So some did
Uh-huh.
come through that. Like, I don't think literally anyone good came through that. And then quite a few people reference the podcast. So that, hey,
Yep.
you do stuff,
Yep.
and then people hear about what you're doing.
Hey y'all, good luck.
Yep. And then people who know me from Twitter and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean,
Is the
even
job market bad because 1,000 applicants
yeah,
for one job for
I think
a niche?
that's what
Like
I'm getting
we're in
at.
kind of a corner of the internet here.
I will say I do think we did open it up to a very wide time zone range
Okay.
and outside the US. So there's a
Okay.
lot of people applying, from the UK and France and Brazil, and
Okay.
it's not just the United States. A lot of jobs tend to limit to their country.
Sure.
We're cool with outside the country. So that I think is a factor definitely in it. And I think being somewhat known in the community I'm hiring for is a factor for sure. but yeah, I was a little worried. I was like, I don't know. I didn't know how it was gonna go. Like, I mean, I knew we'd get some applicants, but I didn't think we'd get 1,000. I will definitely say
That's a
that.
lot.
So go out there. If you're a hiring person, you better post your
Jeez.
job on Lara Jobs. Post your job on Lara
For
Jobs because it
real.
works, which is kind of
For
fun because like
real.
when you see the workable thing tells you like where the job came in from. There's a lot of Lara Jobs in there, and I'm like, yes. It's nice to be able to use the thing I built myself
Mhm.
once in a while and know it actually works, which is cool.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's a lot. It's a lot of work. And I think again, there was been some interest from the Twitter folks of like, I would love to find a way to do this. I can't figure out how to do it. Of like literally like just sitting there in the job applicant tool and be like, all right, I'm looking at this person, I'm reading their
Mhm.
cover letter, I'm clicking their links, I'm reading their resume, which is the order I do it, by the way.
Hmm.
And I'm like, here's what I'm thinking as I go through. This is what I like. This is what I don't like. Yes, they're a yes or they're a no or whatever. Um, so yeah, so I think that would be really fun. I can't figure out a way to
Can't do
do
it.
it. I
There's
mean,
no way to do it.
people have said like you could use my resume or whatever, which I've actually done some resume teardowns before and stuff on like Lara
That's
Jobs YouTube
different, yeah.
channel. But that's a little different because it's also like the whole context of the whole it's like you're going through a whole bunch of people at once and what you're thinking, you're trying to move through it, but you're trying to also give each
And
the time and
boy, oh boy, does that open you up to legal,
yeah, no, I
scrutiny.
definitely can't do it with people who
Yeah,
have not
you
given their consent. That's so
no.
definitely
Hiring
can't do
is
that.
so, like yeah, you have to be
Yes, and
real
even what I'm
careful.
saying is
Yes.
would be nerve wracking. Yes,
Yes, it would be very nerve-wracking.
yeah, and so I'm doing the best I can to give out some generalities. I think I could come up with some more stuff that might be useful to people. That's just general advice on the type of stuff I look for, but I do think there is an aspect of if you've never hired somebody before, you don't really understand
Mhm.
deeply what's involved. Like I would hope I never have to apply to a job again, but if I ever did, I feel like I could do it pretty well because I
You could do pretty
really
well.
understand what
You could
they're
do pretty
looking
well.
for in a way that it's just hard if you've never done it. But uh, yeah, so so far so good. I mean, we narrowed it down. I'm being pretty ruthless because there's just no choice. Like we can't interview like 30 people. Or I hope not to anyway. So I'm being pretty ruthless, which is what you have to do. But
Yep.
we definitely have some good applicants. I'm pretty excited. I think we'll get somebody really good in the role, and which will be super helpful because we have tons of stuff backing up on me as we speak here. So so far so good.
So far, so good. Lot of applicants. That's the
A
part
lot.
that's just that's amazing. I wonder if
Yeah.
that is if that bodes poorly for the future. Are there that many people that don't have
Yeah.
jobs, or do they want out, or is it just living in not America and making American money? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just curious how we got to 1,000.
I think it's a like a mix of a whole bunch of things. I think there's like people who think it would be like kind of the people in the circles a little tighter who are like, oh,
Right.
it'd be cool to work at Escape or kind of in the mix on stuff like and
Mm-hmm.
know about that stuff and are like, that would be fun. I think there's people, yeah, like if you're in the UK and like this is a way higher salary than you would get as a
Mm-hmm.
senior dev in the UK, there's
You
that
could
kind
buy
of
an air
angle to it.
conditioner with that
You
kind
can
of
buy
money, man.
you don't need air conditioning in the UK, but you could.
Well, I tend to
Um,
disagree.
um, and yeah, I think there are people who are in like maybe there are just definitely some people who don't have jobs right now who are applying.
Mm-hmm.
So there it's been a mix.
I'll tell you what, if I was living somewhere where the US dollar was like, 10 times the local currency, I would do everything in my power to get a US job, remote job. That is just the
Yeah.
biggest leverage point possible. Even
Yeah.
if the currency was equally valued, the salaries
The
here in
cost
the
of
US
living is
versus other
less and
countries is
things.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely I think for if you can get that, it would definitely be something to look at, I think. And from the company's perspective, it's hard to work that way. So you have to have a company willing to like have
Right.
somebody who's 5 hours
Yeah.
off or whatever. It's not always ideal, but I think the way we tend to work since we're small and like we do a weekly one-on-one, but like we don't have a ton of real time, especially for the dev role, where like I kind of almost look at it as an advantage potentially for yeah, it's not. I mean, we have like some great US applicants too who are going to be interviewed, so it's not again, I'm indifferent. But if it works out where somebody's 3 or 4 hours ahead, I actually think it's not terrible because it's like I mean, it's like I like to work late at night for the same reason. It's like nobody's
Mm-hmm.
around, nobody's bothering you, there's no
I
questions.
love that. That's a
Like, yeah,
dream.
it's just like, yeah, you could turn these things off, but it's always just
But
there in
can
the back
you?
of your mind.
Can
Yeah, you
you?
can't really. Exactly. So where you just know everybody's sleeping, it's like, okay, great. They're all sleeping. Like,
Yeah.
no worries. I can just be doing my, in the zone for 3 or 4 hours before there's
I
any
just love to be
questions.
in the zone. I love to be
Yeah,
alone and in the zone. There's just
so good.
there's nothing
Alone
better.
and in
There's
the
just not.
zone.
Love it, man.
Oh
Well,
man.
okay. Hopefully,
So
hopefully you find them soon. I'm excited for you. It's a lot of
yeah,
work.
well, we will update the next phase. Yeah, the next phase is going to be a whole bunch more work, and then it's like, yeah, yeah, just have a lot of balances. Like, can we have producer Dave working on this for 2 months? No, like,
No,
so it's like
he's
you
got
have
a
to
podcast to
on my
produce.
he's got stuff going on. So my time obviously. So you're trying to always balance those things. It's hard. But yeah, so this I think at some point this week we're going to start the kind of first pass culture fit sort of calls,
Nice.
just see where the person's at,
Yeah.
and then go from there. But yeah.
Okay.
So how's your stuff going on? What's up with the course?
You want some? You want some? You want some numbers?
Yeah, if we're still doing numbers. Where were we
We're
at
still
last
doing
week? Do you have
numbers.
it?
We're
You
gonna
have it
stop
broken
doing
up?
numbers at some point, but we're still doing numbers. All right. Give me your number guess.
90.
96.
Oh wow. Okay.
Little bonus
You are
6
right
on there. A little
there.
extra. A little extra.
And that's up a pretty good percent from last week.
That's
So
up. That's
you're still
up.
going.
So we're still going. When did we launch? It must have been a week before this past Thursday. So it's been a week and a half now.
Yeah. Right.
Week and a half, almost $100,000. I feel pretty good about that. I feel
Yes, you
very
were
good about
trying
that.
to make sure you were getting to 100 was definitely, I think, a
Yes.
goal. So you will get
Yeah,
there
I think Steve
for sure.
Steve and I were targeting 100 for the first month. That was our
Okay.
goal. Feel really good about it. People seem to enjoy it, which is of course my greatest fears, that a bunch of people are going to buy it and then they're going to be like, "Hey dude, this sucks and you're an idiot."
Right.
So that hasn't happened yet, which is
That's
good. That's
That's a
good.
good sign.
Maybe they think it, but they haven't told me it, so that's good.
I think that's enough people that if they thought you were an idiot, somebody would have told you.
Somebody would have told me, yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody has told me yet, so please don't write in and tell me that if you're listening right now. So it's good. I took last week to not record any SQLite videos, which was very, very nice. This week I'll get back to it. I've got a few modules to finish out.
Right.
And that'll be good excuses to send more emails and to talk about it more and to say like the early access is going away soon, like go buy it now, that kind of stuff. Yeah, feeling pretty confident about it.
Are you doing more like marketing YouTubes around it or videos like on YouTube?
Yes, we will continue to do database school interviews, and I have a few SQLite just YouTube videos that are coming out. And we'll continue to push on that. And so that's part of what we're trying to figure out now is like, what's the long-term like marketing strategy for this?
Right.
And YouTube videos are definitely like basically the top of our list.
Yeah.
So that's going well. I feel really good about this, not because it's a ton of money, which it is a ton of money, but again, 2 people full time with families. But I feel good about this because it's a lot of money, I think, for the material. I think SQLite is really good and powerful, and people should know it and use it more often than they do. But again, I'm not trying to change the world, right? And so if I'm looking at the market of databases and I'm like, well, which course would make the most money?
Right.
It's not going to be SQLite.
Yeah.
And the fact that SQLite has made this much money makes me feel really confident about the next one, which is Postgres. That like I don't have to like I'm not fighting an uphill battle to like remind people that Postgres is good. Like people just love Postgres for some reason. I think it's great. So the fact that we were able to do so much off of this more niche, maybe more hobbyist in its current incarnation database, I feel like is a really, really good sign. Now, I think the industry is definitely waking up to the fact that SQLite is great and can be used in a lot more places. And that's good. Like, that's a rising tide that will lift my boat. But I'm
Yeah,
not the one that's trying to be like, everyone move to SQLite and also buy my course.
right.
So yeah, I feel really good about it. We're still trying to iron out a few, there are a few kinks on the platform itself. Because we coded that from scratch. So we're ironing those things out, preparing it to also host the Postgres course. So
Yep.
this one platform that we're building, this is going to be an asset for us. This is going to create a moat for us that we own. We own the platform. We can do whatever we want with it, and we can launch quickly because we do own the platform. I think that'll be
Yeah.
good long term. And it's a lot of fun. I like programming, of course. So yeah, got to finish. Main thing right now is finish the course, market it some more, remove early access, and then get the flywheel turning on durable marketing, durable distribution.
Ongoing
Yeah,
sales motion.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now
If we
doing
level out at like $2,000, $3, $4, $5,000 a month with the SQLite course, that's a
that would be
great
awesome.
base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can get to like 5,000 a month, and that's not that many sales. The full price
It's
is
not.
200, right? So
Yeah,
it's
once we're
not
done with
crazy.
all the coupons and stuff, it should be like 199 or something.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's 25,000. That's only like what, 25 or whatever. So it seems doable.
Seems doable.
Yeah. And then even Postgres is like, I think that's the logical next one. And I think, but I don't think it's the one kind of in terms of the market size. I think it's still tiny compared to probably MySQL.
Yeah.
And then even like SQL Server probably, although that's not really in your marketing wheelhouse as
No, it's
much
really not.
probably. But
It's really not.
so I don't know. It's kind of interesting that you still might have some big ones out there, some big fish in the future. I know you've already done a MySQL course. Probably not the
You
most
know
fun
what's
to redo
interesting
the
about
MySQL
that?
course, but
I'm going to be competing with myself.
right, exactly.
I'm going to be competing with myself from a year and a half ago who is selling his course for free, and I'm going to have to convince people that I'm better than that guy.
Right.
And you
That's
should pay me
hysterical.
money to watch my course. Then don't listen to that idiot. It's
That
going to be
guy's an
very,
idiot.
very interesting.
That is interesting.
It's such like a, I don't know what it's an experiment. Like, I don't know what the experiment is, but it's like the purest experiment possible because we're holding constant me.
Yeah.
And so it's
Well,
like, what are we learning? I don't know, but how interesting is this?
I think here's the thing is now it's a little trickier because you used a lot of your like personal marketing effort on that first course. Like
I did.
people, you've talked about it a lot. People are aware of it, and you're going to be
Yeah,
talking to a lot of those same people. Although you've grown since then a lot,
I
so
have.
there are plenty of new people who haven't heard about that or didn't at least get as much of it as somebody who's been following you for several years or whatever. But this is just like regular, normal commercial stuff. Like this to me is nothing at all. In that, like, yeah, like very often in commerce, what the customer finds first is what they buy.
Correct.
And so, like, they're not out there looking for every Aaron Francis MySQL course. They're not even necessarily out there looking for free MySQL courses. Like,
Yep.
if they come across your paid one first, they will buy it, and then they will be happy because they'll learn stuff. And that there is also a free one by Aaron Francis somewhere is completely irrelevant because they don't even know it exists. And so it's just like kind of not that big of an issue. It's like even like a help desk software, whatever. There's 18,000 different help desk software apps. And a lot of the game is like getting the people to find you before they find so many of the other 18,000 because like 85% of what all of them do are exactly the same. And then it comes down to like, yeah, there are some differences. There's obviously the UI is different and maybe one just jives with you more than another and whatever. There's stuff in there. But the core feature set is pretty much standard. And so
I mean, you're absolutely right. There are a lot. You can go to the grocery store and buy 100 different kinds of toothpaste. Like it exists, and they're actually all made by the same person. So maybe that's a good that's a good analogy. Yes. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. Like Procter and Gamble and one other company make all the toothpaste, but there's 17 brands, and each brand has its own sub segments. Yeah, and this is
My
why
my
the grocery store charges for shelf space. They're like, "Oh, you wanna be at eye height in the middle of the
mm,
aisle, or you wanna be on the end cap? Well, then you're gonna give us a discount for so long, or you're gonna pay us because we know and you know that the first thing people see is often what they buy, and they're just gonna buy the thing on the end cap even though there's 20 more options in the aisle." So,
mhm. Yeah. So my when we get there, it's going to be very interesting and very fun. And my goal is
yeah.
going to be to crush Aaron Francis and
Evil Air
absolutely
Francis.
win. I'm gonna make that loser. Yeah, I'm
It
totally gonna win. That Aaron
I don't
Francis doesn't stand a chance.
I don't think you have the I don't think you'd have I don't know. I don't think you want to do this, like whatever, because they're not going to be happy about it. But it would be super fun if, like, you were taking bits of the old Aaron Francis and like being like, "This
Hmm.
guy was an idiot," like from the actual course, and be like,
Oh,
"Now I
that
know
would
better," and
be.
like slicing between them, or Aaron Francis with some horns or whatever, like on the old one, and like new improved Aaron Francis that Steve's adding little shine stars on your head because now you're so much better and shiny and smarter.
Oh, I
That
am so
probably
much
wouldn't go
better
over
now.
well, but,
No, no, I don't want to. I don't want to poke the
I'm sure
beast. It's a
there's
beast indeed.
a lot of stuff you can go into, though, that you didn't get into in the first course. There's things that I don't
Yeah,
know
things I
how
know
much
better
it's
now.
yeah, things you know better, things that are even different. I don't know if that was I guess it was MySQL 8 already at that point
Yeah, it
focused or
was.
yeah, so I guess you don't have that stuff, but, um
Wait, they did just announce MySQL 9 is coming out. I
oh,
wonder if I
really? I
should
didn't
just
see that.
wait for that because
Dangerous
that would
game.
actually be a pretty good.
It
That's a
would be
pretty good
logical
pitch.
if it actually comes out on time,
Yeah. Yeah, I forget when. Okay, this
but that is
post is
always a
from
good
July 3rd that says MySQL
oh,
9 release notes.
when? Does
So
it say when?
I don't know. I think these are the release notes from July
Oh,
3rd.
like they've released
Yeah,
MySQL
I think
9?
so.
Oh,
Yeah.
well then that's yeah.
What's new in
What's new
MySQL
in
9?
MySQL 9?
MySQL 9 is out. Thank you for your contributions.
Uh,
5 days
this is
ago. Oh, suck it, Aaron. Aaron's gonna win. Yes. Yeah, so
well,
I can
wow.
say that other course, boy, that other course is outdated, isn't it?
Oh
That
my
other
god,
course
this
sucks,
is
doesn't it?
pure nightmare status here for me. We're already on 9 and 8's
You just
already only bug
barely
fixes.
got
Like,
8 to work. You're just limping along with
yeah, we ain't going
MySQL
to
8.
9 for a long, long time. I hope that
Yeah.
8 is bug fixed for a long time because I really
Oh,
don't
I'm
want to
sure it
deal
will
with it
be.
for a while.
I just hope they
Um,
continue. I hope they make it faster. It's really going downhill.
It looks like there's the vector database aspect, which every database needs now and all that stuff. So you'll have a whole bunch
Yeah.
of new angles there. Yeah, so that's perfect. There you
That's great.
go.
Boom.
Boom. You got and that's when people are always looking for it's scary
That's
to move to
right.
9. It's like, what are the
Yep.
differences? What's gonna blow up? Like you
Yep.
could have a whole segment on all the stuff that's gonna
Migrating
blow
from 8
up.
to 9. Yep.
Yeah.
This is great. This is great.
Wow.
We just solved one of my existential problems is how do I compete with myself?
Real time
Newer,
product
better,
management
faster.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Huh.
That's great.
Cool. I
It's
dig.
out already.
It's out.
Now
Yeah,
you
who
gotta get
knew?
on it. Get on it. That's it.
I need a sponsor. So
Ooh.
if you're listening and you work at Percona or Oracle, that's about all I can think of. Oh,
AWS. What about AWS?
AWS. Hey, listen.
DigitalOcean. They
I
all
am
have hosted
all
MySQL.
I am all about taking money from AWS. That would be a
Yes.
nice turn of
What a
events.
great way for the
So,
money to flow.
yeah, if we could get that, queued up, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
would be really awesome.
update on the email conversation from last week. Wes Boss
Mm,
does send all his emails from one domain.
yep.
Kent C. Dodds sends most of his. I asked him, and there was like one thing he doesn't send from that domain. He sends most of his stuff from the one domain.
Yep.
And so I talked to Jesse Hanley, the founder of Bento, who's my email guru,
Yep.
and he was like, "Yeah, you can do whatever you want. I would recommend from like a marketing and branding perspective, send it all from one domain." I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, this is interesting. We're coalescing around an idea." And so I talked to Steve. I was like, "Steve, what do we want to do here? Do we want to send everything from Try Hard Studios, or like what are we gonna do?" And good guy Steve was like, "Listen, I've been thinking we got to double down on this being a personality driven
Yeah.
business. And so we got to send everything from aaronfrancis.com. And all the time, all the while, I'm thinking like, well, but it's you and me, Steve. And Steve is like, dude, listen, I do not care. I do not want the spotlight. I just want to
Yeah.
be the guy doing the thing, and I don't want to build an audience. And I'm like, huh,
Yeah.
okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So I think we've decided. The Aaron Francis domain, by the way, is 20 years old. So we're good.
Wow.
We should be
Really?
okay with like domain age and authority there. Yeah.
Yes. That's always great.
Maybe even older. I don't know when my dad got it, but he got the .com, .net,
Right.
and .org for me when I was a kid.
I think it depends when he actually utilizes it too, though. That's a
Yeah, that's
factor
probably true.
anyway.
Yeah.
More than just the registration.
So yeah, we're gonna move everything over, all sending domains to aaronfrancis.com.
Nice.
And it's gonna be more fully a personality thing, like a Wes Boss or a Kent C. Dodds or something. Which makes me, of course, a little bit uncomfortable, but I think that's what the market is dictating, and therefore I shall do it because I'm not morally opposed to it. I'm just somewhat reluctant, but I can get over that.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, I think there is a weirdness. To me, it's more like even the down the road weirdness of like just even like 20 years from now, and this is all over, and it's like this thing is associated with your domain, and like you might want to use your domain for other stuff or personal stuff or whatever. But like, also, who cares? Like, because ultimately, if like this makes you 3x more money, then that'll be much better outcome, and everybody will be much happier. So,
correct.
Yeah, I mean, it's so clear that you are the whole personality of the marketing effort, right? Like, that's the focus of the marketing. It's like you on the videos, your YouTube, like all these things. And so like, yeah, even at the YouTube, like trying to rebuild a whole new channel of like, it's hard, so.
And that's
you
what
can
Steve and I
leverage what you
talked about,
have.
is like building a second brand from scratch is just, one, it's very, very hard. And two, I just don't know that it's necessary. Like we can just use my brand.
Yeah, and it took you a long time to build your brand, and
took
to
me a
like
long
then
time
start
to build
from
a brand.
scratch.
Yeah.
It's not just like you're a B2B app, and it's like, yeah, we need all the social accounts so we can auto post some shit on there and whatever. Like, no, like content marketing is your entire marketing strategy, really, at least for now, and presumably for the future will always be the core, even if there are other channels you explore. And so you really, all the benefits of a long-lived existing brand are quite valuable. And even all your audience, like trying to get them to sign up to a new YouTube channel, it's just really hard. Like, it's not like the new YouTube channel has as many as yours. It's not like you can just tell people to go sign up or that you're doing a new thing and they go do it. Like, they're not going to do it. And so, yeah, it's a huge advantage. And or you're going to end up double producing all the time. It's like, well, we produced it over here, but now I know I need to put it out on my channel anyway, because that's like where all the eyeballs are. And then you're over there. And it's like,
no, it's no good. It's no good. The good news is the separation by sending domain was always superficial. Everyone that has ever signed up for anything that I have is in Bento. They're just in Bento with a tag on it. So it's not like, oh shoot, I'm gonna have to move this mailing list. Like, whatever. I just changed the domain that I'm sending it from. So I was never super concerned about it. But now I'm gonna start consolidating everything, which feels nice. That does feel like relaxing mentally, to just think, all right, this is a simplification, because now I don't have to have 8 sending domains with good reputation, which I was willing to do. And I, if that's the optimal way to do it, I was totally willing to do that. But now I don't have to, and that's kind of nice. I do like to simplify, so that helps that a whole lot.
And it's like the email sending's one aspect of it, but it's just even the whole bigger picture of like, now the default state, and like kind of simplifies the whole stack of like, where do things go and all that. I don't know what you're going to do with I don't know. What are you going to do with the actual courses themselves? Are they going to stay on their own domain or move to something on Aaron Francis?
That's an open question.
What does Wes do with that?
I think he's got standalone properties for all of his courses. He does,
right? Like for the actual websites, I think they're standalone.
Which I happen to really like. God, his website is good.
I haven't been over there in a while.
I don't know if I've ever been here. This
What
is
a
really
great
good.
short name. You know, I wish I had a short name like
Oh
that.
man, that's a great short name.
6
6
letters.
characters. Yeah, so
That's
he's got separate domains for everything, which I think is correct
Yeah.
in my humble opinion. I think is correct from a marketing standpoint. So mastergatsby.com, beginnerjavascript.com. Oh, what a
That's a
domain. Are
good
you
one.
kidding me?
Solid. Yeah.
Advanced React? These are great. These are great domains.
Flexbox.io.
JavaScript 30. I think that's a big one
LearnRedux.com.
for him. React4beginners.com. LearnNode.com. How long
Good
has he
one.
been in the game to get domains like this?
He's been in it a long time.
Masteringmarkdown.com. All right, so let's click on a premium one. Give me a premium one. LearnNode.com. The best way to learn server-side JavaScript premium training course, and it's just a picture of Wes. So yeah, everything is everything
It's a good
has a
site.
standalone site. Man, this landing page is so good. I
It is
gotta
good.
do better. Um,
It's like a
everything has a
one-page
standalone
site.
site, but everything is also like very clearly Wes Boss.
Oh, so this is interesting. So if you go to my account at the top, it takes you to courses.westboss.com. So like maybe your platform should
There you
be
go.
courses.aaronfrancis or whatever. But yes, I do think each course should have
Yeah.
their own domain so that you get the SEO benefits of that as long as
Yes.
you know and all that stuff. And I think just click throughs will be better with a domain that's right
I
on people's search
totally think
target and
so.
stuff.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah,
Yeah.
so I like that as like the nice middle ground, but obviously you only want to deal with one platform and all that. You don't want to have
Right.
like a bunch of different platforms.
Okay, so we're circling on every course has its own domain, which I think is good and correct. Then the dashboard could live on aaronfrancis.com. And all emails for all courses come from aaronfrancis.com.
I think that all makes good sense.
I think that makes sense.
Because even these pages, if you're gonna go full West Boss, right, it's like your face at the top in the video, your face
Right.
farther down, right? Like as the guy who's built the course and all that stuff. So like
Mm-hmm.
it won't be weird that it's coming from Aaron Francis because Aaron Francis is gonna be kind of plastered on the landing pages anyway. So that'll all still make sense. Yeah, I think that's the play. And I also like, I mean, this is I even like the names he's picked for the courses in terms of like their length and things like that. Like where like the high performance X is kind of a little more unwieldy. Something
Mm-hmm.
not that you're gonna change this course name, but like
I'm not
you
gonna
know,
change this course name.
Keeping it I think that's an interesting angle to it where all of his stuff is kind of really tight for the most part.
His stuff is really tight. I wonder if Master Postgres. I'm just gonna steal his idea live on the air.
Yeah, why not?
Oh man,
Everything's a remix.
masterpostgres.com is available, which means I have to buy it before this airs.
You gotta at least buy it.
Yeah.
Luckily, .coms are the cheapest to buy, so you
Yeah.
pay your $10 and
Is Master MySQL? Is that what we're gonna do now? Master MySQL? Yep, it sure is. That's available. Is Master SQLite? Yep, that's available. Damn it! I gotta buy all of these. These are great domains.
You gotta go get through all Master SQL Server. I'd get them all. Just I wouldn't. Well, it's only $10 a year if you don't use it.
Master Redis is available. Master DuckDB is available.
I'm kind of surprised Master Redis is available, huh?
What's another database? Name another database. SQL Server, you said. I'm not going to do SQL Server. My dad was a SQL Server DBA. He should do that course.
Hey, there you go. Bring in dad. I mean, those are the big ones. I mean, Oracle.
What do I know about Oracle?
You should get all of them.
Master Oracle is definitely taken.
Yeah. I think there's like, is it Master? Is it Mastering? I think it's Master. Yeah, I like Master better, I think.
Interesting.
They might not all. I mean, I don't know if they all should be the same. Like his actually aren't all the same like that. So that's kind of interesting too. But I also think you should buy all those because I'm all for buying extra domains. And if you decide to go that route, then you have it. Oh, here's should you check Master Laravel?
Oh no. Taken.
Okay.
Who's taking that? Oh, it's this freaking site didn't even load.
Yeah, it's a non-loader. I think I would buy all these just to have them. I think you need to think it through a little bit more, and if that makes sense for all that.
What do you
But
mean think it through a little bit more? We just went over this for
we
12
just
seconds on a
decided.
podcast live on the air. What could possibly go wrong?
But I do in general like this concept. I think
I
master
think
and
this is the way to
mastering
go.
is a good word.
Yep. And I think that means I need to redo my personal site to be more focused as a business property.
Yeah, not just what you're up to.
Not just what I'm up to. Which what I'm up to is helpful. That's good content, but I need to put these courses front and center.
Well, I think again, like I would totally be just cribbing off West Boss since he's the master, but it's like, okay, like courses, the navigation's really big and courses is the first thing.
Right.
And then it's like, hey, I'm here to help you become a really good web developer. That's like, okay, I'm here. And then again, courses. But then he's like, yeah, here's my podcast. Like, obviously do that. You know, whatever. He's got tweets and here's a free course that can like get you into stuff quick. So like, he's got the YouTube link at the bottom. So I think it's like the good balance of like, you can still see it's him and where his personalish content is, but also it's really clear that he sells courses and this is where you should go for that.
All right, Wes, I'm coming for you in a way that means like I'm just gonna try to copy your business model. That's about it.
People get upset about stuff like that, but I think it's totally fine. I don't think Wes would be upset about it, but like just in people on the internet are like, oh, you shouldn't. Everything's got to be 100% unique and original and special flower, and I'm like, meanwhile, all the people you think are unique and original, if you like actually dig around, like they've just cribbed it off other people. And it's like, yeah, you're putting your flavor on it or whatever, and your words certainly. I'm not like for like stealing people's content wholesale or things like that, but like the layout of a website or like that sort of thing, or even
of
like
navigation being
this navigation is like this other site's navigation. Like, no, that's not a thing. Like every website's been done a million ways now. Like there's prior history on everything. Like, but I like where you're going with this. I think we're on to something here.
I think we're on to something. This is the seeds of an empire, so we'll keep it going.
Now you got to just give yourself a 6 character name.
Give myself a new name.
You got a stage name. You need a stage name.
I do need a stage name. I would love a stage. But again, a stage name, I got to build a whole new brand just for the stage name.
Redirect everything. We got redirects.
No, I'm not doing that.
Update the YouTube channel name.
No, I'm not doing any of that. I'm doing absolutely none of that.
Todd Raw. How about Todd Raw?
Okay, of things that we would have to think about a little bit more, rebranding my personal name to Todd Raw is maybe one that we would want to spend a few more minutes on.
Not your real life name. I mean, it's just your stage name for like your website and your courses. Like Steve, I'm changing my name to Todd Raw.
That's the most, sorry to all the Todd Raws out there. That's the most average, weird Todd Raw. Todd. First, Todd is Todd. Sorry. I mean, Todd's a norm.
Like a Todd.
I do not look like a Todd.
Oh, comment below if Aaron looks like a Todd. Come on, you look like a Todd. And if we go back to your college picture, you're 100% a Todd.
I'm not a Todd in college.
Oh yeah, you're totally a Todd.
Okay.
All that blonde hair flying around, that's a total California Todd.
Oh man, that was good. That was good times.
Those are the days.
Still had it, man. All right, I'm not Todd Raw. What else? Where do you want to go? Do you want to go automation, or are we calling it?
No, let's do. We need to. Let's just do a few minutes on this automation. Like you're building. I haven't had a chance to watch. You're building some crazy life automation tool. I don't understand what you're doing.
Ian, why is everything I do crazy? Why is everything I do crazy?
You do a lot of great stuff. I love the courses.
I do a lot of great stuff.
I love the YouTube videos. But then you go off on these tangents. Sometimes they're a little out there. You're building a life app. I don't even know what that means. Like, what is this life manager you're building?
Listen, Ian, everybody wants to be so sterile and so like, oh, everything you got to focus on the things that matter. And I'm like, listen, I want to do stuff. There's just stuff I want to do, and everybody's telling me stuff. Everything is content. That is true. But sometimes, sometimes I just do stuff because I want to do stuff, and I just like
Okay.
doing stuff. So
You're like the opposite of the people who apply to the job and haven't done anything. You're doing too much stuff. You're at the other end.
I'm doing more than average. That is for sure. It is
Yes,
possible it's too much.
it's
I haven't
possible.
started digging a pool yet because I do feel a little bit overwhelmed. So it is
We
possible that I am doing too much. I don't know any other way to live,
mm,
unfortunately.
I
I
know.
don't
You gotta
like
get a handle on
there's
that.
just so much stuff I want to do. Like there are in my head right now, there are 3 books that I want to write. I want to write 3
What?
books. Yes.
Writing books? Where did
Writing
this
a
come
book.
from? We've
That's
never
the
heard about
dumbest thing in
this.
the world. I know.
That literally makes
I
no
know.
sense.
I spent probably 10% of Sausage Fest, which is the annual gathering that I go to where we
Mhm,
cook sausage, of course. And
obviously.
I spent 10% of that weekend talking about how to write a nonfiction book. It's just a great idea. First of all, I spent also 20% talking about digging a pool in my backyard. So it comes and goes, but there's just so much I want to do. There's so much that I
I
want
appreciate
to
that.
do, and there's just not enough time. You know,
No,
there's not
I
enough
think
time, and that that's kind of frustrating. The
that
fact
is
that there's so
frustrating.
much to do and so little time. I'm sure I'm the first person to experience this, but
Nobody's ever
it
experienced that.
certainly feels new to me. I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, you did have 4 kids, so you also have added a little
Whoops. Yeah.
extra little whoopsie there
Yeah.
on the 4
Oh, the
kids.
oopsie doopsie.
So, yeah, you've stocked the odds against yourself a little bit
I
on
have.
writing 3 nonfiction books on top of all the other stuff you're doing as well as digging your own
Which is
pool.
what's gonna make it such a great story when I
It
do it.
will be great when you pull it all off, yes, then
It's
you'll be
gonna be a
like, "Look it,
great
I did it."
story. I'm only in it
Yeah.
for the story. I just want people to
Sure.
think, "Wow, what a great story."
What
Yeah.
is this like pool?
Can you
Okay, okay.
imagine? Can you imagine the 2 years that I went through where we had twins and then found out we were having more twins? Like in 2 years, I went from 0 to 4.
That's wild.
That's wild.
And a
All
layoff
right.
and starting a business,
Oh
and yeah, it's a
man,
lot. You need a
it's a lot.
vacation, that's what you need.
I need a vacation.
Yeah,
I need a vacation.
and not a
Um.
vacation doing stuff. See, this is I've always made this mistake, don't
Ooh.
make this mistake. We always were like, if we're gonna vacation, it's gotta be stuff the kids will remember, and it's gotta be
Yep.
special, we're going to Disney, we're
I'm
going
not going to
to
Disney. Are you
Europe, or we're
kidding me?
dragging them around, whatever. Just go sit on the beach. Don't do any other
Just
stuff.
just go to like a
Go.
resort in San Antonio where there's
Yes.
literally nothing else to do but float in the lazy river at
That's
some McMansion
exactly what you
resort.
should do.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you should do. Not even like we've also done that. We usually go to Martha's Vineyard in the summer, and I love Martha's Vineyard. And it's great, but A, it's very expensive, but also B, there's nothing included, right? It's just a city. It's just towns, and like you
No.
go and every
No.
night, what are we gonna eat? We got to go find something to eat. Let's go hunt and
If I
gather
wanted
for
to
some food.
work on what I'm going to eat, I would have stayed at home.
Exactly. So you just want the all-inclusive, lazy
Yeah.
river, float around. That's what you
Yep.
need. That's what you need right now.
I
Go do
know that
that.
all-inclusive resorts are a poor person's idea of a rich person's vacation, but I do not care. I want to go somewhere where I can order as many plates of
Oh,
chicken tenders as I want, and they're like, "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir." That's all I want.
yes.
I just want to
Yes.
order chicken tenders and sit by the pool and drink maybe Diet Cokes if I'm on vacation. Okay?
Sure.
That's all I want. And maybe
That
read
is
a
what you
bunch of
should do.
books and plan out my next book. Oh no.
There you go.
Shoot. I've done it. I'm working now.
Oh.
The life automation,
Mm,
it's good. It's very
okay.
good. So here's a glimpse into my brain.
Okay.
I think there are so many things that like I know that I should do, but because there's no good system to do them,
Mhm.
I don't do it.
Okay.
Right? So let's take
What's an
for
example?
example bookkeeping.
Okay.
Bookkeeping for like my personal LLC, and we'll even say budgeting for our family, for our household.
Okay.
I know I should do that.
Mhm.
I'm a 35-year-old man with a wife and 4 kids. I should be able to budget and
Sure.
bookkeep. But you know what I do? Not that. I
Right.
don't do that
Yeah.
at all. Not even a little bit.
Right.
Not even a tiny little bit. And
Mhm.
so I think in my head, okay, well if I had a system that presented me with the information and I can just say business expense this thing, household expense this category. And like, I've tried YNAB. I get it. I know everybody's like, oh, you should just use YNAB. I've tried it. I don't like it. It doesn't work the way that I want it to work.
Okay.
And so there's like, that's one microcosm of something. There are like 10 others of things that I definitely should do, but either forget or put off or don't do, because there's no system, and I just really desire a system.
Oh boy. Okay.
And so I'm building systems. Yeah, we got a lot of work here. We got a lot to unpack. And this is one of those things where it's like, okay, guys, I've tried doing it every other way. I really have. I've tried, and maybe I just need to do it the way that I think would work for me. And maybe that will help. Skeptical Ian, you're not even speaking, which is how I know. We 30-minute segment. We didn't even get the Seinfeld register on the voice. We got complete silence, which means I'm gone. I'm off the rails. That's the worst thing you could have done.
The most outrageous thing you've ever said, to be honest with you.
No.
I don't know. Like, I mean, so you literally like taking data feeds of like your Amex bill and banks and like trying to pull it all into a database somewhere.
Yeah. 100%. Yes.
That's just insane. It's insane.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
It's a horrible idea.
You know who else? You know who else they thought was insane? Very bad idea. Probably Einstein. Probably Newton. I don't know. But I bet people thought they were insane.
I don't know.
And therefore, I am Einstein. That was what I was saying. That was the corollary.
All right. Can I propose something slightly different?
Yeah, I'm not going to listen, but I will allow you to propose it. So yes, go.
I mean, first of all, our feeds break all the time in our business data feeds and stuff. And this is like with a team of people at the like bookkeeping app that are like presumably on it all the time. So it's not going to be possible for you to maintain these feeds. Like they're going to break all the time. And your system's going to implode, right? Like that's just going to happen.
Definitely. It's going to be a maintenance nightmare. Okay.
It is going to be a maintenance nightmare. And not because of you, not because of your code or anything else. It's because this is how that system works. It's not really set up for you to be doing what you're trying to do. But
okay.
I mean, some of this you shouldn't even be doing. Right? Like you should have a bookkeeper for the business that does the business books. And there should never be anything coming in where you have to decide if this is business or not, because if it's on the business credit card, it is business. Now you have to categorize it perhaps, but you shouldn't have to separate. So if you're not separated, the first thing to do is separate business and personal.
Oh, I'm separated.
Spending. Okay, I figured you were. I mean, categorization, it auto-categorizes after you initially categorize usually. So that's, the bookkeeping app will take care of that. And the bookkeeper will take care of that. So you forget the business stuff. You're going to hire a bookkeeper.
Forgotten. Gone.
Good. Now, personal, I don't know. I'm not a fan of the categorize all of your spending. It seems ridiculous.
It does, doesn't
whatever.
it?
If you want to try to do it, I guess, you could do it. I think it's useful to have like big picture.
I understand that it's useful. I couldn't tell you from personal experience.
I mean, I've only gotten recently into more serious budgeting, and even that I'm keeping it just like it's very high level. It's like here are the big chunks of money, and like it's not necessarily every transaction, but it's like, hey, these are the big things we spend money on.
Yep.
I know about how much we want to spend in these different zones, and that's kind of it. So I don't know. I mean, I still think there's literally thousands of tools that do what you're saying you're going to build, but
not like I'm going to do it. Mine
will
be different. Mine will be different.
But okay, so if you were just building that, fine. But it sounds like this is going to do other stuff. Like you're not just building a SaaS app or a personal finance organization. Okay.
No, all kinds of other stuff.
What else? What's another thing it's going to do?
All right, so I've got the list over here. So here's part of the deal.
Okay.
One is I want to do it. Okay. I want to have to have a system.
Okay.
And I need a system. The other thing is it's great content, right? It's
okay
very
content.
Okay. That was disrespectful, Ian. It's great content. Here's the thing. The streams are good content. But already I'm doing stuff in building out this little application that's like, oh, this is an interesting standalone video. It's good fodder. Now I am like actively developing something that's relatively complex, and so I'm doing interesting things, which makes for good YouTube videos that I can put out. So it's kind of like part
Market
of me,
research.
yeah, part of me feels like almost anything I do is justifiable as content, and it's kind of nice because it's like, yeah, I kind of want to build it. It's not doesn't make super much sense, but it's gonna make a great video, so we'll do it for the gram.
All right. Well, I
All
guess my
right,
two
tell
cents on
me.
that would be, um, in terms of the things you're actually trying to accomplish, there's no doubt in my mind that it's makes financially more sense to hire an assistant who just does all that stuff and like categorizes all your expenses and whatever, and that
Mm-hmm.
your time is better spent on other things and just like a
Mm-hmm.
straight dollars and cents trade off. Now,
Okay.
there can be a reason to build something as part of the time better spent. So I'm thinking of like a Jeffrey Way here. Like he did
Okay.
a big course on like building I think he's built a forum like 7 times.
Six
Like he built the
times, yeah.
forum, right? And then he rebuilt
And
the
it's always
forum,
great
and then he built the
content.
forum
Yeah.
again. Right. So like great. So like you're building this course platform, or you and Steve are, and the course platform could be like you have to build this thing anyway. Let's do
Yes.
I can stream it while I do it. And we're gonna hit and we can make it do a bunch of crazy stuff it shouldn't even do, but like whatever, we're gonna push it so it's interesting and I
Yes.
get into other areas that like maybe spur on videos or whatever. That all makes sense to me. This whole tangent where you're like just building a personal calendar financial system, I don't know.
You don't
I
buy
don't
it.
know. I don't buy it.
You
I just
don't
think your
buy it.
time is so valuable. You're a guy with 4 kids and a
I
business
am.
and the course and another
It's true.
course, and you're gonna dig a pool. I
Yeah.
just think like there's only so much time in the day, and like
Yeah. And
even
it's
the streams,
frustrating
like the
because there's not
streams are
enough time. There's not enough
good, but
time.
are the streams they're not as good as the videos, like for your business,
No,
I
of
don't
course not.
think,
No.
right? So
Mm-mm.
I don't know. It's a little time value of money situation going on here.
It is. It is. This is very interesting. This is going to shock you. I think
Mm.
I'm right. I think I'm in the right here. In a
I'm
twist
not
that no
surprised.
one saw coming. I
Who could
think
have
I'm
seen it?
right. I have no idea. This is just, totally
Maybe you are.
uncharacteristic of me to think I'm right.
Possibly you are.
I agree with you
Mm,
on purely looking from a dollars and cents point of view. I
mhm.
agree that this is not the highest and best use of my time.
'Kay.
However,
Mm,
um, there is only so much highest and best use of my time that I can do in a day, a
mhm.
week, a month. And there's some amount of time that needs to be spent doing things that feed the other things, if that makes sense. So, like,
Exploration.
exploration, quality of life type things. Like, I
Mhm.
just can't sit here for 3 months and only work on
Sure.
SQLite or Postgres.
Definitely.
That's just very depressing. Like,
Right.
not depressing. It just run out of steam a
Yeah,
lot
no,
quicker.
you can't be motivated at the right level that length of time. Yeah,
Correct.
you need to
And so
mix it up.
doing live streams gives me energy. Like,
Mhm.
I get a high off of that, and it's very
Yep.
enjoyable for me.
Mhm.
It also, like, I do think it grows the brand, the audience, the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
distribution. So I think
for sure.
that's like a positive.
Mhm.
And I truly do, like, for years and years and years, have desired a system. And so
Okay.
I'm just gonna do it. I'm
I
just
like
gonna
it.
do it.
All right, I'm with you now. I'm with you. You've
I
convinced
just
me.
gotta, sometimes you just gotta do it to find out if it's a good idea or bad idea. And like my spiritual twin Einstein or Newton or maybe Steve Jobs, you're gonna think we're crazy until it works. And I'm just like those people in that way.
All right, 2 questions then. Or
Okay.
yeah, 2 questions. One is, are you building it as a SaaS that other people could use, or are you building it
Ah,
without that concept?
which one is better in
I
Ian's
think there's
mind?
no point if you don't make it so that other people can use it.
Shoot, I'm doing the other one.
Okay.
Dang it. I thought you were gonna say, just build the thing that you
I mean,
need without
I know.
encumbrances from what the
I
market
do
demands.
I do also agree with
Dang
that in a
it.
sense. Like I do see both sides of like it's gonna take you way more time and be way more complicated to make it something other people can use. Like there's
Yes, that's
security and
that's
all
the
kinds of
thought.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like so I do agree with that in that sense. So I don't know. I do waffle between them, I guess, a little bit. And because
So I'm
building for
building it.
yourself
I'm building it
does
just
keep
for
it
myself
cleaner.
so that I
Yeah.
can build it to match my idiosyncrasies, and so that, like, integrate YouTube, Twitter, Transistor, Deepgram. I'm not having to build OAuth connectors, or I'm just
Yeah, all
putting
that
the
stuff.
freaking env keys in my thing, and that's it. I
Yeah.
move on.
If
And
people love
so,
it and are, like, excited, you could always open source it. We could always add the other stuff later or whatever. You could do
yes,
other
I could
things with
open
it to get
source it.
other
I
people
could I
involved.
could do your heroes. I could do a once.com style thing where I'm just
Mm.
like, here's the code.
You
You're
run
gonna
it
have
on
to
your
replace
own.
these
Okay,
envs and,
alright.
like, something like that. But
I
yeah,
like
I'm
that. I
building
like
it
that.
just for me, which gives me, again, this is like the freedom part. I just get to
Yeah.
do whatever I want to do, and
It
it's
is a
really
hobby.
wonderful.
It's really just like a hobby
It
activity, so in
is.
that
Yeah.
regard, yeah, you're right. I was wrong there. You're right.
Oh,
It
thank
should just be
goodness.
for you.
Okay.
And
Whew,
it does
got one.
it
I
does
got one
you got
win. All right.
one!
What's the second question?
Because this actually lines it up nicely with my second question, or sort of opinion and more than a question, I guess, but, like, are you prepared
No.
to abandon this if it
Mm.
becomes clear you should? Like, it's like when you're reading a book and it's, like, bad and, like, don't force yourself through to the end, just, like, abandon.
Hit the
Like, I think you should be
bricks.
in that mindset of, like, I'm willing to eject this thing if it just seems like it's not gonna get
Yeah.
anywhere, or
Yeah.
it's
I
bad
think
waste of
so.
time or whatever,
I think
or if it's too
so. I
busy.
think there are parts of this system that already run,
Mm.
and what you have disparagingly called my crazy static site setup runs
Yes.
some of these systems, right? It
Okay.
runs some of the, like, pulling the podcasts, transcribing the videos, republishing to Transistor. It runs some of those systems. And so I don't think
Mhm.
there's a world in which I say, I want to do everything manually. Game over. I think there is a world in which I trim the scope and I'm like, geez, Plaid's API sucks. I'm just going to use, a different bookkeeping
Whatever,
service or
yeah.
something. So yeah, there are parts that I will probably get into and be like, this was stupid. And I will abandon those. But this is the way that I've learned everything that I know, is like, try stuff that may seem stupid. And then some of
Yeah.
it works. Some of it's like, make $100,000 on selling tutoring videos to college students. And then some of it's like, boy, you wasted 6 months working on that thing, and you're not using any of it. And
Yeah.
then 3 years later, it's like, oh, I've done something like this before. Let me just redo this again. And I've already
Yeah.
done all the hard parts. So I don't think anything is for naught. I think there are things that I will abandon, pieces of it that I will abandon along the way.
Yeah.
But listen, if I'm going to dig a pool and write 3 books and raise 4 kids and have a burgeoning empire, I got to have some sort of system that helps me behind the scenes, right?
I guess. I think you
No,
definitely
you're
I
you're
definitely
thinking
I
small.
mean,
You got to think the
no, no,
size
no.
of the
I just think
universe, Ian.
I've reorganized myself recently, which I had as a topic for us to talk about at some point, but with this, like, the para method organizational system, and it's been
Oh,
awesome.
wow.
And I think, though, there's, like, other systems out there where you don't have to code the system, like, or invent
Yeah.
the system. Like, I think you
Uh-huh.
can just adopt the system that exists and that people already
Yeah.
use, and that is really good
It'd be
and people
nice.
benefit from, as well as outsourcing different things. Like, which is our coder mindset. It's like we can
Right.
build a solution for that, right? Like, I've definitely done this
If
many
I were
times.
normal, I would
Sure.
just like use Notion. And I would be one of those people that, like, has this awesome Notion dashboard, like, keeps track of my bowel movements and stuff. But,
Right.
like, I don't want to use Notion. I don't like
Yeah.
Notion. I don't get it. It makes no sense to
Yeah, I don't
me.
think
And I
that's
just
right. I don't use
just
Notion
want to
anymore
have the thing that I, like, built with these 2 hands. You know what I mean?
either. I do know what you mean. I do worry about you in that
I do too.
you're and I've definitely made this mistake, which is why I see it and I
Tell
get
me.
nervous for you, is that when your outlet from all the kind of, like, technical stuff is more technical stuff,
Mm-hmm.
it's not always ideal for the actual outlet. Now, your situation's a little bit different because you're not coding all day and then
Mm-hmm.
coding more. You're kind
Right.
of, you're building the courses and things, which is not that much coding and such. And then, you're doing the coding as the hobby. So
Right.
that regard, it is actually
And do
not
remember
so
that
unreasonable.
most days when I go home, I don't even take my computer home. So,
Ooh,
like, I'm leaving at like 5:30 or 6 from here, and oftentimes I just leave my computer up here.
wow.
And so now
That's
that this
crazy.
is my full-time job, it's not like I'm burning the midnight oil grinding on coding up something that I really shouldn't be working on at all.
Yeah.
It's like I get into the office, I stream for 2 or 3 hours, which has multiple benefits. And then I do, with all that, I ride that energy out and do other work that I should do, and then I go home. And so, there's some part of me that's like, this is new for me. I've never been in this situation where my full-time job is also the hobby, and the hobby is sort of the full-time job, and everything is justifiable for the sake of content. And so there's part of it that's like, I don't know how this is all going to shake out. But right now, I think I am optimizing for rejuvenation, and building something that I want to build is how I do that. And you know what? Why don't I just turn on the camera while I do it?
Yeah. I'm with you. Okay. You brought me around. I've been brought
we
around.
moved him to the middle. We moved him to the middle. I will
part
take
of it
that.
to me is that I think of you as a coder.
Yeah.
But see, you're not actually a coder anymore. And most of what you do all day is not coding. You're sitting by the pool reading printouts and things, and then you're recording videos, and then you're not actually doing that much coding at all. So the coding as rejuvenation when you're not actually coding all day,
bingo,
is makes a lot more sense. But
there you go.
So it's yeah. All right. I'm with you.
All right.
You got me. You got me.
Oh man, that was close.
You got me.
I thought I was going to take all L's. I was going to take all L's on this episode, but I got one W there at the end.
You got it.
I don't usually get you. I really don't. And
sometimes
you end up being right, and it just
that's even worse.
Oh, it's the worst. The HVAC thing, I can't even talk about it. Not a single solitary individual took my side on that. Not one person.
There's been at least 3, I think, that I've seen, and probably more, who have mentioned the HVAC situation in their cover letters. And they all sided with me. So even people are applying to jobs.
That's pandering, just so you know. They're just trying. They just want the job.
I appreciate it. You've done some research.
That is true. You have done your research, and you know the hiring manager. That is a very good point.
I think it's awesome. Like, it doesn't, again, it's not an auto like, oh, this person knows me, we're definitely going to interview them, but it's on the little signs on posts I'm looking for, that's a plus side one.
And
hey,
to those 3 people that put that on their cover letter, just so you know, you are dead to me. You have chosen your side, you've made your bed, and now you must lie in it. So you're dead to me.
One last thing then. What's the HVAC update?
The HVAC update is I haven't moved on it yet, and I have decided I am gonna have somebody come out and see if they're what I need to find out is, was the system designed poorly and it's working as designed, or was the system designed well and it's not working as designed? That's the real thing I got to figure out. Like, is there a broken or leaking duct somewhere in the crawl space, and that is the problem, or was it just not designed to push enough air to the back, and then that's a different problem? So that's what I need to figure out first before I implement any changes.
That makes sense. Get the data and then decide which way to go.
Yeah, and somebody linked us, I forget who, so if it was you, forgive me, but somebody linked us to a register that has a fan in it, and
I've seen those
you
things
can
before.
It's like $50 or something. So instead of spending $3,000 on HVAC OS, maybe just get the one with the fan in it and see if that creates enough pressure differential to get the air back there.
Because I think that one, it's like trying to suck the air forward.
It is.
Right? Yeah, you put it on the vent in the room that's too hot in your case.
So presumably there's a long run and the air's not making it back, and so you put a little bit of pressure with the register, it pulls it out, and that should help it. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see.
Well, that'll be interesting.
So that's the update. Yeah.
I like that idea. That definitely seems safer than creating back pressure and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's we decided that's not really an issue, but you're right. Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah. We did. We definitely did. Definitely did. So the whole thing, the point of the show is I need more people to take my side. That's all I ever want.
Go.
I just want people on my team. Yeah. I think today's
episode, I think they'll be yelling in their car. They'll be like, Ian, you don't get it. He's just hanging out. Like, he's just doing some fun coding. Yeah. He's building courses all day.
Let the man live.
Coding.
Yeah.
Like, he's not coding all day long. He misses coding, and that's why he's doing this. And he's doing a fun little thing.
Yes.
And I think that when they get to this, they'll be like, oh, Ian saw the light by the end, and it'll be a nice little arc of discovery, and it'll be great. So I think you're going to have some people on your side here today.
Well, thank you all for joining us on this journey.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Follow us at mostlytechnical.com, mostlytechpod on Twitter, and email us in at mostlytechnicalpodcast@gmail.com. We will get back to you. So thanks, everybody. Have a good week. Thanks, sir. Talk to you next time.
All right. See y'all.
Bye.